Hi friends, I'm back this time to explain to you about how every organization has different characters and personalities that form the organization. I have simplified the whole organization into 4 Qs or 4 quadrants which depict different characters and personalities of the organization. These characters and personalities of the organization decide the behavior of the organization. To simplify the whole organization, I have broken down the organization into 4 quadrants. These 4 quadrants depict the 4 personalities or characters which exist in every organization. Now, there is quadrant A, there's quadrant B, there's quadrant C, and the quadrant D. Now this is the low of x-axis and this is the y-axis. This is the low of y-axis and high of y-axis, low of x-axis and high of x-axis. A. What does A depict? The quadrant A depicts the all-time low. What does B depict? High on behavior. Behavior is excellent. Behavior and attitude is excellent. C is the caution quadrant. I'll explain to you as to why we call it the caution quadrant. And D is the most desirable quadrant. So the whole personality of the organization has been broken up into 4. It simplifies for understanding the personality of the organization. It's really important for business leaders and managers to understand what kind of people exist in the organization, and every organization can be broken up into the 4 quadrants as explained. Each of these quadrants are going to be explained in details, and these are personality quadrants of individuals who work with us, and individuals who perform, individuals who do not perform, and individuals who are going to form the organization's behavior. Having broken up the organization into 4 quadrants, which depicts the personality and characters of employees in individuals working here as teams, let's start with the quadrant A. A is the all-time quadrant, all-time low quadrant. This depicts individuals who fall into lowest performance or low performance and low on attitude and behavior. Low on attitude and behavior means the person is never on time, displays very lax kind of behavior at work, talks very loosely about the organization, has no great esteem about the organization, and thereby his performance is also low. These individuals are very difficult to deal with because they exist in the organization, and the only way to deal with them is either try to get them up to the B, or they need to go out of the organization. These individuals pose a real challenge and pull down the performance of the organization. This also pulls down the morale of the organization because it has low attitude and low behavior displayed by these individuals. Quadrant B. This is the behavioral quadrant, which is very high of behavior and attitude of those individuals. These individuals display high amount of behavior, attitude, which means to say very positive, on time, very punctual, highly committed, highly dedicated, and display high level of commitment towards the organization and are truly aligned to organizational goals. Having discussed about the A quadrant, we move to the B quadrant, which is high on behavior and attitude. It's a Herculean task for somebody to move from A to B because the managers do not have the time and performance gets affected very dearly. Thereby, the B quadrant people are people who already exist in the organization with high attitude and great behavior. These individuals are an asset to the organization if performance can be improved. The B quadrant people are those happy-goes and the good people in the organization where everybody wants to be associated with, but are never the shining stars because they lack performance. The C quadrant. The C quadrant people are those which needs to be displayed as the caution employees. You should be really careful dealing with them because the C people quadrant are people who display high amount of performance but low level of attitude and behavior. They are the most indisciplined lot. They do not have any respect for systems and procedures. They display very low on attitude and behavior, but they continue to be the performers of the organization. Let's go to quadrant C. C, the caution quadrant. They are very, very high on performance, low on attitude and behavior. These people do not have any respect for systems, procedures, or discipline in the organization. They are the people who come late, who are late for meetings, who are late in submitting reports, but the most organization tends to oversee that aspect of this individual because they are high on performance. They are highly protected individuals. The leaders, the business leaders and the managers protect them because they are the people who perform and lead by performance. Their attitude is very, very low. It is desirable for every manager to take this individual from the C quadrant, which is high on performance, to the D, which is high on performance, attitude and behavior. This is the desirable quadrant. But most often these people have a sense of arrogance in them, and thereby they are highly protected by leaders in the business, and thereby they tend to hover around this quadrant for a very long time. The moment their performance dips, they have no choice but to move out of the organization. These individuals very rarely move up to the D quadrant. The D quadrant is the desirable quadrant or the dream quadrant. Every manager's dream that my team, my people should always be in the D quadrant. But it's seldom true, and it remains a wish list for a lot of people because the complexities of people behavior have less tendency for them to move into the quadrant D. Let's explore what D depicts and how people can move into the quadrant D. The 4 Qs of the organization has been simplified, and I'm not getting into too much of the details of each of the quadrants, but the D is the desirable quadrant. It's a dream quadrant for every manager to find their team and the team members, and it's an organizational dream to find all the employees to be in the quadrant D. How easy or difficult it is for somebody who's at the A to get into the D quadrant? Yes, it is a difficult task because the managers will have to put a lot of time and effort in pruning this individual on his attitude and behavior, at the same time ensure that he performs. His performance on the peak and his attitude and behavior being very good can only help him to move into D. This is a difficult task, and most managers are not willing to work on individuals who are in quadrant A, and thereby most individuals surviving in any organization in the quadrant A eventually moves out of the organization or will be asked to move out of the organization. What about the quadrant B? They're very, very good in behavior, the attitude, they are example to people, they are punctual, they are dedicated, but they lack the skills to perform. This can be supported by managers and help these individuals to perform, thereby moving this individual into the dream quadrant of D. How about C? As you said that while dealing with these individuals who fall into this quadrant of C, the management and leaders need to display high level of caution because there's a lot of arrogance in these individuals who fall into the quadrant C and are not willing to move up into the D quadrant. They thrive on the performance. They thrive on their deliverables, and most organizations tend to protect them for their performance. They are the cash cows of the organizations, and thereby nobody works on these individuals, and these individuals are finding their own way out of the organization when there is a situation of non-performance. D quadrant is a dream, and everybody, every manager, every leader in the business expects their team members to survive in the D quadrant. These are the 4 quadrants which have been explained by me, which shows that every organization can be broken up into A, B, C and D kind of personalities and individuals. Hope this small learning is going to come handy to you when you deal with individuals and teams in your own organizations. The personalities and behavior of individuals have been mapped and broken up into the 4 quadrants, and I try to simplify it. Though this can be a one full day exercise, I've tried to make it as brief as possible for the understanding of managers, where they can draw cues and try and map the organization based on the A, B, C, D quadrants. These are the 4 cues of the organizations. If you like it, share it, and please give your comments. It will be definitely helpful to me in giving more insights into various topics that hasn't been covered by me. Thank you. Thank you.